Hi there. I'm Scott Graham. I'm the CEO of Three Rivers Hospital, and with me is Rob Wylie. I'll let him introduce himself, Rob.
My name is Rob Wylie. I'm facilities manager for Three Rivers Hospital.
And we're here to talk about a new project that we have called the Hybrid Renovation to try to address the things that we need for this hospital to keep it going for the next 100 years. This hospital has been in operation since 1949, so that makes it about 76 years old. We're actually standing in the oldest part of the hospital, the historic McKinley building. It was originally called the McKinley Hospital, and now we're at a place where we really need to look at doing some upgrades to keep the hospital productive and safe and uh, viable for the next several decades. Well, we're up here on the roof of Three Rivers Hospital, and we're going to show you one of the things that we have some concern about, we feel like really needs to be addressed. The roof is old. It's served the hospital for a long time and has done a great job, but as you'll be able to see, there are some specific things that we need to take care of when it comes to the roof, and I'll let Rob kind of show us.
So if we pan out over the hospital's roof here, we can see the domed skylights that have been covered and sealed. Um, Part of the problem with that acrylic roof is that it shrinks and expands in the summer heat, and it creates a real problem for the roof and the skylights leaking. The other issue we have is the slope of the roof. There is almost no slope to this roof, and so what ends up happening is the pooling of the water in different locations, and for the potential of leaking there.
Maybe you can pan down and show us standing here in water. So, Rob, when you think about what it takes to maintain this roof, what are some of the primary things that you have to do to make sure that the roof doesn't cause us additional problems like leaking or other kinds of problems?
Well, the main thing is annually we pressure wash the roof and then reseal the roof with a light coating of roofing, and over time that's just it's just become it doesn't adhere as well to the old roof, and we're required to do constant repair on all these different penetrations that are in the roof and skylights and AC units as well.
And they're a little hard to see, but the skylights are right over there, kind of in the center. They're white, but those are probably one of the main vulnerabilities that we have for leaking, right?
Absolutely, we had to foam up and over some of these. This is a prime example of one here where the acrylic has became cracked, and it's been sealed with like a snow coat type substance, but um, it's a constant recoating of an annual activity that we're forced to do it. So it's about $7,000 to $8,000 in material annually that we're putting on the roof.
Not to mention the labor that it takes
That's
and the
correct.
cost for that. Yeah. Well, what about all these dark spots? What causes that? Because I
The
know you said you paint it every year,
Yep,
so
pressure washed and painted. So this is just dust and stuff that blows in from the trees, different pollens and dust, and it just settles in these low spots, and that's what we have to scrub off. And of course, it makes it very difficult for the new roof material to adhere to it if it's not really clean when you apply it.
what would a new roof look like that's being proposed?
A new roof that's being proposed is this section mainly of the hospital, the west side of the hospital, would get a sloped roof that would slope out and slope this water away from the building to the drain. And it would also give us access points to bring in utilities to different sections of the hospital under that sloped roof.
So when you say access points, what does that mean? That the because the slope of the roof is such that there would be things under the roof that you'd be able to utilize, or How do you mean?
There would be a utility type crawl space between the upper roof and the existing roof that we have. So then we could do ducting, we could do plumbing and electrical, and we could bring those services through that area.
What's the advantage with that?
The advantage to that is it makes getting utilities to any location accessible from the roof rather than from the slab foundation, which is very difficult to and costly to modify and upgrade. So it makes it so the footprint of the hospital can be rearranged in such a way that we can utilize all sections of the old hospital.
And if changes need to be made, it's not nearly as difficult to make those changes because we have better access.
Right. Able to make those changes and to do that while we're still functioning as a hospital and providing services. So even if it was a small remote IT closet, we could upgrade that without affecting much of the hospital at the same time.
Whereas right now, it's a major shutdown if we try to do anything like that.
Right. It's a major shutdown, a loss of services. And of course, that's very difficult for a
Yeah.
hospital of our size to do. So having the ability to make those changes in a thoughtful way, where you're outside of the public view, is very, very nice.
So, Rob, if I were watching this video at home, one of my questions would be is how safe is this roof? How likely are we to see a failure anytime soon?
A structural failure, we're not apt to see that. But as far as leaking and having water penetrate through the membrane here, that's pretty probable that's an annual thing that we're fighting. Structurally, it's sound and can be built upon and built off of. And so that's our real hope is to remove the existing foam membrane and take it down to the metal and then put a sloped roof on it that we can then work utilities through.
How old is the current roof?
The current roof was installed in the 90s with the foam membrane, but the existing structure itself, much of it we're looking at is 1958 structure.
That's old.
That's
67 years old.
and some of it is 73, so it's
Yeah.
50 years old as
Yeah.
well.
So it's served really well.
Yeah.
It's and I know your crew and you do a great job in helping to preserve the life of this roof and keep it viable. But tell us what you're encountering in terms of the challenges that you're running up against.
Well, the number one challenge that I have with the roof is in the wintertime with the snow load. If we get a snow load of about 3 feet of setting snow, it really pushes the limits of the building, as well as these skylights. Once they become covered in snow, their integrity begins to fail and they leak, and as well as the ducting. So getting the snow off the building is greatly needed. Plus the efficiency of having that air gap between the roof and the existing roof would make the efficiency go way up.